Welcome to another episode of the Discord.js version 13 tutorial series. In this episode, we're going to be creating a complete warning system using the database that we created episode 11 and using interaction subcommands. Here is a preview of what you can do. Here are the available options for a warning system. You can either add a warning, you can check a member's warnings, or you can remove a specific warning, or you can clear all of the warnings that a member has. Let's add a warning, for example, to TKF. The bot, give it a reason, test 3, and now we've seen that we added a warning. I previously added warnings to this account too, so we can type /warnings, check. We can see all of the warnings that the member was warned for. Now if you want to remove a specific warning, we can type /warning and then remove. We will pass in the member ID and then the ID of the warning that we want to delete. Let's say I want to delete number 1. I will press 1, and now if we check the warnings again, we should see that warning number 1 has been deleted, and now the warning number 2 has become ID 1. Now if we want to clear all of the warnings from that account, type warning, clear, and then he will pass in the target tag, and then it says here warnings were cleared. Now if we check the warnings, check, we should see that TKF has no warnings on record. Right, so before continuing with this episode, you will need to watch episode 11 on how to set up your database and connect it with your Discord bot. But if you already have your database set up, then it should be alright for you. So what we're going to be doing right now is creating a folder inside of our main category, or main bot folder, and we're going to call it models. And inside of that folder, we're going to create a file and we're going to call it warningdp, for example, .js. And what we're going to do here, require a couple of stuff from the Mongoose package. We're going to require a schema, or whatever you want to call it. Then model. We're going to require it from the Mongoose package. And then we're going to be model.exporting and type model. Here we're gonna set the name of the database, so it's gonna be warningdp, for example, and then we're gonna create a new schema, and here we're gonna input some information that we will use, like for example guild ID is gonna be string, user ID is also gonna be string, same with the user tag. That's way it's easier to find the warnings in the database. It's gonna be string. And now the content is gonna be an array. It's gonna be an array of contents. For example, the executor tag, reason, evidence, and stuff like that we're gonna be using. Now we save this and we go to our commands folder. We're gonna create a new file under our moderation category, and we're gonna call it warnings.js. And it's pretty much like every other command, except we're gonna be using the subcommands this time. So we're gonna require a couple of stuff from the Discord package. We're gonna leave the object empty. We're gonna require from Discord.js. We're gonna require the client command interaction and the message embed. And now here we're gonna require the file that we created inside of our models. So we type const dp equals to require // models warning dp. Alright. Now we're gonna simply module.export. The name of the command is gonna be warnings description system. You can like I always say, guys, the values you can always change, you know, like the description. You don't have to have it exactly the same as me. Now here, using our previously made permission handler, we're gonna set the permission to be, for example, administrator, so only administrators get to use these commands. And here we're gonna create options inside of an array. So we're gonna create 4 options, or 4 subcommands: add, clear, remove, and check. So let's create a simple template for now. The name is gonna be empty, description. We're gonna add or make this template so we can just copy paste it a couple of times. So subcommand as the type, and then required, or we don't need to actually type required, It's gonna be options, and it's gonna be an array. So we can copy and paste this 4 times or 3 times, just like this. And here we can change the names of our subcommands. The first one is gonna be add, the second one is gonna be check, then remove, and then clear, I think it was, yeah. So the description adds a warning, checks the warnings, removes a specific warning. Is that how you type it? I don't know, don't judge me, guys. Clear, and clears all warnings. Inside of our add subcommand, we're gonna add 3 options. First one is gonna be obviously the target, so name target. Description is gonna be select a target. It's gonna be the type is gonna be user, and then it's gonna be required set to true. What we can do is actually copy paste this. Let's put a comma at the end. Copy paste this in every option in the subcommands, because we're gonna be using the target in every subcommand basically. So we can identify the reason or the user. Right, so now the second option is gonna be, let's actually copy paste and edit the values. It's gonna be reason, and here provide a reason. The type is obviously gonna be string, and it's also gonna be required. And now for the evidence, it's optional. Let's see, evidence, provide evidence, and we're gonna make it false because it's required. It's not like actually required. Alright, so now that we're done with the ads, we'll go down to check. That's it. You only need the target. For the remove, you need the ID also. So name is gonna be ID, or you can change it to be warn ID. And now provide the warning ID. Type is gonna be number, also gonna be required. And this should be it. Let's check, add, target, reason, evidence, check, target, remove. Yeah, it's all alright. So now let's go down over here. Let's actually close this lines. You can't close this ones. No, okay, I'm sorry. Now let's execute client interaction and arguments. We're not gonna be using arguments in this episode though. The parameter is gonna be client, then command interaction. By the way, the parameters are just here to autocomplete. There's nothing special about them. Right now, here we're gonna create a code block, and we're gonna grab a couple of stuff from the interaction. For example, the sub. So const sub is equal to interaction dot options dot get subcommand. And here we're gonna create an array and put all of the subcommands that we have. So let's see, add, and then check, remove, and clear. So we're gonna get whatever the user of the command shows. And now we're gonna get the target. So const target equals to, let's actually copy this over here. So we're gonna get member. We're gonna get the member object from target, and then we're gonna get the reason. So const reason equal to get string from reason. The evidence, const evidence equal to get string reason. Evidence. It has to be in lowercase or none provided. So if you don't, because it's an optional thing, we're gonna say no provided if we didn't provide. Pretty simple. You guys should understand this by now. And now here we're gonna define the warn ID. So const warn ID equals to interaction options dot get a number. I get it. I'm gonna get it. Where is it? From warn ID over here. right. Now we're gonna define the born date. So const born date equals to interaction dot let's see here, I think no, we have to clarify a new date. Then here interaction dot created timestamp, and then we're gonna format it to be local date string. And this is all we need to get from all the information that we need to get, obviously. And now here we're gonna do a series of checks. So if sub is equals to add, we're gonna execute something, and here we're gonna type else if sub equals to check, also gonna execute something. We can copy this else if statement a couple of times, and we can change the value of it, or the check actually, just like this. And now from check to remove, and from check to clear. We can do a bit of spaces so we don't get, let's actually close this. I don't like it that way. Let's keep it like this. Alright, so for the ads, now here we're gonna access the database, and we're gonna find one, and if we don't find one, we're gonna create a new one for each member. So it's pretty simple. All you need to do is type db.find1, and here we're gonna pass in the guild ID. It should be exactly as we typed over here. See, a guild ID. It's gonna be interaction.guild ID. Alright, and now user ID is gonna be obviously target.id. And now for the user tag is gonna be target.user.tag. It's pretty simple. And now here we're gonna async the error and data. Then we're gonna create the error function, and we're gonna check if an error happens. So if error, we're gonna throw the error. And now if we find if we didn't find data, so if !data, then we're gonna create new data. So data equals to new dp, and then here we're gonna provide everything that we wrote here, basically, just like this. Put a comma at the next line, copy this, put it over here, user tag, put it down here. And then last but not least is the content. It's gonna be an array of contents. So inside of an object, it's gonna be the executor ID. It's gonna be the interaction dot member.id, or we can type user, actually it's a bit safer, ID. And then executor tag, it's gonna be interaction dot user dot tag. And then what we can type reason, it's gonna be reason. Evidence, it's gonna be evidence. And then the date is gonna be the worn date. Give it a second to load up. See over here. All right, it loaded up. I don't know why my Visual Studio Code is a bit slow this time. All right, now we're gonna data.content.push. We're gonna push the or no, we're not gonna push the object because we didn't create the object yet. So we're gonna put a comma at the end of this array, and here we're gonna check else. So if we find or if we found data, we're just gonna add it. So we're gonna create a new object. So const obj inside, and we can copy all of this, to be honest with you. I'll type it over here, and here we can push the data content.push. We're gonna push in the object, and then we're gonna go down one more line and type or data.content or data.save, actually, not the data.content. And this should be it. That's how you add a warning to the database. But what we need to do now is actually send a reply. So interaction.reply, we're gonna send it as an embeds, and we're gonna create that embed inside of the embeds array, because it's only one embed. Message embeds. Right, so set color. I like the color purple. You guys choose wherever you like. And then set description. It's gonna be warning. added. Then here target.user.id, and then here we're gonna put the target ID, but it's gonna be hidden, so target.id. So we can click on it and it will pop up. It's a little bit nicer. We're gonna create a new line here. We're gonna make it bold. Reason. Here we'll pass in the reason. Then yet another line. We're gonna call it evidence, and we're gonna pass in evidence. And this should be it for this embed. I'm gonna close out of it. And yes, that's it. We can actually set a title too. Should set title warning system, and this should be it for the add command actually. So now let's go over to the check. It's a little bit simpler. So the same concept. We do db.find1, and inside this object we can just copy paste this line of code over here. It's less code writing for you. It's more time effective. Like we always do, async error data, and then we're gonna async. Actually, we're gonna create an error function. Or how did we do it like this? Let's see over here. Did I write anything wrong? Because it seems like I wrote something wrong. No, it's all good. Alright. We're gonna check if there an error happens. We can copy this line over here. So in case an error happens, we're gonna throw in the error. And now if we check if there is data, then we're gonna grab that data and do something with it. So we create an object, and we're gonna send a reply with the warnings history of that user. It's gonna be a little bit complicated description, but you will get the hang of it. So interaction.reply. What we can also do is copy this interaction reply. Less code writing is faster. So set title warning system color blue. Here's what we're gonna be changing. So inside the backticks, we're gonna type data.content.map. So we're gonna map the content of the data, which has all of the information about the executor ID, reason, evidence, everything basically. And what we can do is we can map it and go down one more line, map W and I, and create an error function. And here we're gonna create backticks again. We're gonna specify the ID. We're gonna make it bold, and it's gonna be I plus 1. Let's see what we did with the ID over here. So where you see the one ID, guys, remove this closed line and add +1 to it. I'm gonna tell you why later, if I don't forget, hopefully. So just add +1 to the one ID. Right, now we're gonna go down one more line, and then here we're gonna type by. Let's make it bold also, or we can actually create a new line and say by. We're gonna type w.execute. The w basically is the data content, by the way, and the I is the number of the ID. So executor dot or executor tag, and then we're gonna create another line, and it's gonna be called date. And here we're gonna type w.date, and what we can put is also the reason. So another line, bolded. We're gonna pass in the reason, and the same thing for the evidence. We're gonna create a new line, evidence. It's gonna be evidence, and then here we're gonna create another line, and we're gonna join, so we don't get the commas. So let's go down here, and that's it basically. And over here we're gonna type .join with a space. Simple. And yeah, this should be basically it for the check. We can go down over here and type else. So if we don't find any data, we're gonna basically say that the user doesn't have any warnings. We have no data about that user having warnings. So we can copy this, paste it over here. Let's see here. Did I type ID here? Oh, it should be user.tag, not ID. Alright, tag. We're gonna remove all of this. Has no warnings. and this should be it. Oh, well, what did I delete? The actual reply. So let's do this real quick. Just like this. We can copy the content of the description, put it right here. Sorry guys if I'm confusing you, but I think you're smart enough to know what I'm doing. Let's back it up one more line, or no, keep it like this, and this should be it for the check. Let me do this right here real quick. Alright, this should be it for the check. It's pretty simple. You can pause at any time to check over your code. Now let's do the remove command. So the same thing, we're gonna db.find one. Let's have an object. We're gonna pass in what we already did here. Alright, and then we're gonna async error data, create an error function. If error, we're gonna throw it. It's pretty repetitive, but it's pretty clean code. So if we find data, we're gonna splice the data. We're gonna remove one warning. So we're gonna type data.content splice. We're gonna splice the one ID one only. We're gonna only splice one, and here we're gonna create an embed. Let's copy this one right here and type. Let's move it one more line backwards. Type target.user.tags. Here we're gonna put the number warning ID. Here we're gonna type +1. This should be minus. This shouldn't be plus. Sorry guys. The warn ID should be minus, not plus. Alright, so warn ID +1 has been removed. This is for remove, yeah. And then else, so we're gonna check if we didn't find the data. And what we also can do, we can data.save. So we save the data like we did. Where was it? Over here. We can outside of the if statement, I think. Yeah, outside of the if statement. Or it can stay here. Else, what we're gonna do is copy this line over here, the reply, move it one more line, and here we're gonna type, or here we can copy this actually because it's already complete. So target has no warnings, so there is no warning to remove. And I think this should be it for the remove command. Yeah, I think this should be it. I'm going over it first now. Alright, we're gonna close out of it. And now here we're gonna for the clear command. So it's pretty simple. Let's go down a couple more lines. We're gonna type db.find one. Same repetitive action. We're gonna also async error data. And don't worry guys, we might have written a couple of mistakes here. We're gonna check them over whenever we try to run our command. So we're gonna type the same. If you find an error, we're gonna throw that error, and we're gonna check if there is data. So if data, and then we're gonna find one and delete. So await dp.find one and delete, and we're gonna pass in all of this good stuff. Here we forgot to put a comma. Alright, yeah, we're gonna find one and delete, and then we're gonna send the reply. So let's copy this one. Warnings were cleared, and this should be it. And now here, if we don't find data, so else, we're gonna send a reply that member doesn't have any warnings, but we also gonna be needing to save the data. So whenever we clear it, so put down one more line here and type data save. Or I mean, you don't really need to save it because you're actually deleting it, so don't save it. Yeah, this should be it, I'm pretty sure. So everything should be working if you didn't type any typo. So let's go ahead and start our bot. So make sure you save that file. I always forget to save my files. Alright, no errors in here, that's a pretty good sign. Now if we go to our Discord, Leaks Code bot, not the other one, test one. Here we should see the warning add, warning shake, warning remove, warning clear. So let's take warnings. Let's check for leaks, for example, if I have any warnings. And warning system, it says leaks has no warnings. You can customize the embed as much as you like. You can make it way better than this. Alright, so let's add a warning to myself. Like we checked with, I don't have any warnings, so it says I have no warnings. So warning add leaks. I'm gonna add the reason hello, and evidence I'm gonna type test. Alright, so let's see over here, send the command. There must be an error because it's taking time, so let's go to our terminal. Oh, we used the wrong bot. Yeah, I'm pretty sleepy. We should use this bot. So warning adds leaks, reason test 1, evidence test 1. No, not that tag. We're gonna type test, not a valid user. Oh, now we have an issue. This should be string, this shouldn't be a user, guys. Alright, so let's restart the bot. Alright, warning, we should be using the red bot. I have my other bot to test out. So to warning adds to leaks, reason hello, evidence hello. And here we see warning system, warning added, leaks, this is my ID, reason hello, evidence hello. Now if we do warning shake, warning shake, red bot, leaks, we should see all of our warnings. So you see reason has returned null, there must be an error with that embed. So we go to our shake over here, it should be w.reason, and the same thing with the evidence, w.evidence. Now let's restart our bot. Now if you shake, warnings shake, leaks, now it should be hello, evidence hello. So it's pretty good to learn how to error handle, guys. That's why I like to record my videos like completely without editing and stuff. Yeah, so let's add another warning. So warning add the red bolt, leaks, whatever, evidence does not provide evidence. So you can see non provided. Now if I check my warnings, check leaks, we see that we have 2 warnings. So let's say I want to delete the warning, this warning, but keep this one. So remember the reason and the evidence. So now I type warning remove, and here I'm gonna type my name, leaks, and the warning ID is 1. So it's like this. Let's see, we got an error. One ID is not defined. It's not defined because the ID was in capital letter last time I shaked. Let's see here. Yeah, one ID is in capital letters. So let's do it again. So warnings remove, leaks, one ID should be 1. And now we see leaks, warning ID 1 has been removed. So you see this is the old warning. Let's remove this message to compare. This is the old warnings. Now warning shake, leaks. Let's see, transaction failed. Let's see what's the error was. Old message. It's a completely different issue, guys. Don't worry about this. It's a completely different issue. So warnings shake, it's my other message delete handler or logs. So let's check the warnings. Like you see, we removed the warning 1, and now the warning ID 2 went up to 1, and the old one got deleted. You get what I mean? Now let's clear all the warnings. So warnings clear, leaks. Let's see, leaks warnings were cleared. Look, I even wrote a type over here. This is how tired I am. Either way, now we check warnings, check leaks, and I should have 0 warnings now. See, leaks has no warnings. So this is it, guys. It's a database. It's always gonna be saved completely for free. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any suggestions, join our Discord. It's the link down in the description. And yeah, thank you guys for watching.